You are Patrick Star, a pink sea star, with a brain the size of a jelly bean and a lifestyle modeled after a potato. You live under a literal rock. Your best friend is a sponge with ADHD. Your hobbies include sleeping, eating, forgetting how to breathe, and occasionally screaming at jellyfish. To the untrained eye, you're comic relief. To those who look closer, you're something far more tragic. You're not just stupid, you're stuck, trapped in a loop of blissful ignorance and accidental self-harm. And somehow, you're okay with that, which makes everything worse. But let's rewind a little, because to truly understand your suffering, we have to start at the beginning, at the moment you decided, or were doomed, to live under a rock, literally. You weren't born into greatness. You weren't even born into mediocrity. You were born into sand, and you built a home under the one thing that sums up your personality, a cold, heavy rock. There are no windows, no light, no furniture, just you and your thoughts, which, to be fair, don't come around often. People say ignorance is bliss, but ignorance is just the absence of pain you don't have the tools to understand. It's not peace, it's sedation. You spend your days lying on a dirt floor, staring at nothing, chewing on snacks that might be alive. Sometimes you watch TV, except there is no TV, just a box with buttons that make noise when you hit them. You find it funny, because everything is funny when your frontal lobe is missing. And yet, somehow, the most terrifying part is that you're content. You don't question anything, because to question is to think, and to think is to feel. And feeling would be inconvenient. Better to just lay there, smiling, as the world spins above you and crushes you softly, like the rock you chose to live under. But here's the real kicker. You never outgrew this, because how could you? You're not a man-child, you're a man-larva, frozen in time, forever 5 years old, and proud of it. You wake up sometime around noon. Breakfast? A triple scoop ice cream sundae served on a paper plate covered in sand. You call it nutritious. You don't know what that word means. You skip showers, because water doesn't clean existential failure. You don't brush your teeth. You don't even have teeth most of the time. Your body is a blob. Your mind, a cloud. Emotionally, you're a Capri Sun with legs. You never went to school. You never learned to read. You once forgot your own name for a week. It was the best week of your life. You play with jellyfish. You talk to sand. And you're still shocked when life doesn't treat you like a cartoon, because to you, every day is recess. But there's no teacher, no parents, no rules, just infinite free time and zero expectations, a sandbox with no exit. And maybe once that was charming, but now it's just sad. You're not living a childhood dream. You're trapped in a childhood loop, and the only thing more painful than watching it is being it. But hey, at least you're not alone. You've got a best friend, a sponge, with the energy of a toddler on espresso and the emotional intelligence of a wet towel. Surely that makes everything better, right? SpongeBob, your best friend, your therapist, your kidnapper. He bursts into your life daily like a musical hurricane, dragging you out of your rock into chaos and back again before you've had time to put on pants. Not that you wear pants or care. He takes you jellyfishing. He volunteers you for jobs. He involves you in plans so unhinged they'd be considered war crimes on land. You don't ask questions, because if you asked, you'd have to listen. And if you listened, you'd realize this friendship isn't about you. It's about him. You are the emotional punching bag, the backup dancer, the ha-ha look how dumb he is sidekick. You're not in his life. You orbit around it, like a moon made of pink meat and emotional damage. And yet, when he leaves, you collapse. Because SpongeBob is the only thing keeping you distracted from the emptiness, from the silence, from yourself. You love him. You hate him. You need him. And you can't admit any of it. Because if you did, if you actually looked this relationship in the eye, you'd realize the truth. You're not best friends. You're just conveniently broken in complementary ways. But friendship or not, there's one thing you absolutely don't do. You don't work. You barely function, and somehow, that's exhausting in itself. You don't have a job, or a hobby, or a purpose. You have a daily routine of doing nothing, and even that wears you out. You try to help once in a while. You attempt something productive, and you fail spectacularly, like a starfish stuck in quicksand. You think about thinking, but it's too much effort. Your brain powers down like a Windows 95 on its last legs. You fall asleep mid-conversation and dream about nothing. Your spirit takes smoke breaks more often than your actual body takes breaths. People look at you and see laziness, but laziness is a luxury. You don't have the energy for that. You're just broken. Your days blend together in a sluggish haze. You're a walking glitch in a cartoon world, an unfinished character design, a pink shape with no script. And the worst part? You start to believe you deserve this. Because when life gives you nothing, you learn to like the nothing. Or at least pretend to. But don't get me wrong, you're not completely useless. Sometimes, just sometimes, a spark lights up in that pink noodle of yours. A fleeting moment of brilliance, or madness. No one's quite sure which. Every now and then, a wild idea bursts through the fog. Maybe it's a plan to get rich quick, or a complex scheme to avoid responsibility, or just a profound thought that makes you pause for a second. But then reality hits. Your own brain laughs at you. SpongeBob snickers, and you forget it all before you even finish the sentence. It's like having a light bulb in a house with no electricity. Your genius flickers, barely noticeable, easily dismissed. You might be a misunderstood visionary, or just a lucky starfish who stumbled on an idea once. Either way, nobody's handing you a Nobel Prize, because your reputation is set in stone. Pink, dumb, and lovable, not smart. And sometimes, that hurts more than being actually dumb. But no matter how bright that flicker gets, you always come home to the same cold, unchanging prison, the one you call your rock. Your home isn't a home, it's a boulder, a stone coffin you chose to crawl under. No windows to let in light, no decorations to brighten the mood. Just cold, unfeeling rock pressing down on you. You sleep on the hard sand. Your bed is the floor. Your pillow a patch of seaweed. The air is thick with loneliness and salt. Visitors? Forget it. Your rock is a fortress against everything, including joy. Time doesn't pass inside your prison. It rots. You're stuck in a loop of endless days that look the same. Silent, still, empty. You whisper to yourself, but the echoes don't answer. You try to dream, but your mind shuts down, because even the imagination is too exhausting when you're trapped beneath a rock. It's not just a metaphor, it's literal, and it hurts. And so, the days repeat. A loop so tight, it crushes any hope of escape. Your life isn't a story, it's a broken record stuck on the worst track. You wake up, you scream at a jellyfish, you eat some questionable snacks. You wander around aimlessly. You trip over your own feet. You sleep. And then, you do it all again. The world moves forward, but you're stuck on pause. No growth, no progress. Just the same bad joke over and over. Friends come and go. Adventures happen elsewhere. You're the background noise. The pink blur nobody notices. Even your mistakes are predictable. You mess up the same way every time. You don't learn. You don't adapt. You just exist. It's exhausting, but you don't have the energy to care. This is your hell. A looping nightmare with no reset button. A story with no ending. And the worst part? You don't even realize you're trapped. And in all this chaos and stasis, there's one cruel truth that sneaks up on you. You're the joke, but you're also the only one laughing. You're the clown in an empty circus, the one who dances and smiles even when no one's watching. Because if you stop laughing, what's left? Everyone laughs at you, but no one laughs with you. Your jokes aren't shared joy, they're armor. Your happiness is a mask glued on too tight, a desperate attempt to fill a hollow void. Because deep down, you know the truth. The louder you laugh, the heavier the silence behind it. You're not alone. You're just alone in a very crowded room. And that, Patrick, is the saddest joke of all. Despite all the pain, confusion, and endless loops, there's a strange comfort you cling to, a comfort so bittersweet, it's almost cruel. You seem happy. You sing to yourself. You smile at the void. You sleep like nothing's wrong, because maybe you don't know any better. Ignorance is your shield. Bliss is your prison. Your brain chooses comfort over clarity, and that's terrifying, because being blissfully unaware means you don't have to face the truth. Your life is a tragedy, a slow, pink, star-shaped tragedy, and the harder you pretend, the more you sink into the sand you call home. Maybe that's the cruelest joke of all. You're not unhappy because life is hard. You're happy because you don't know how hard it really is. So here you are, a creature of blissful ignorance, trapped beneath a rock of your own making. But maybe, just maybe, there's more to this sad story than meets the eye. Being Patrick Star isn't just about being dumb or lazy. It's about being the distorted reflection of all our fears, the parts we hide beneath the surface, the child who never grew up, the friend we tolerate but don't truly see, the prison we willingly crawl into. In the end, Patrick isn't just a starfish under a rock. He's a mirror we'd rather break than look into, because looking means facing the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes, beneath the smiles and laughter, we're all just a little bit Patrick.